Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay, joining us is ACHARA KIRK.
Hello.
I am a huge fan of the infamous video game series. Ricardo Elliott II, a friend of mine, recommended that I look at this trailer because it's by Sucker Punch, the people who made Infamous. They also made a game called Sly Cooper, or a series called Sly Cooper, which I tried playing but I couldn't get into, but I loved Infamous. I was sad that they weren't making sequels to it, but they've got this game, Ghost of Tsushima. I am very curious to check it out. Check out their follow-up game to Infamous. I'm a little bit sad and disappointed that I'm not looking at a trailer for Infamous Part 3 or whatever, but hey, let's see what this is about.
So in 2014, we came out with Second Son, and about 6-7 months later, we came out with First Light. And then about a year from that, PS4 Pro was starting to come out, so we wanted to support that with Second Son and Fetch with First Light and all the cool laser bullets that come with that. But behind the scenes, what we were really working on was trying to figure out how do we make a new game? Like, if we were going to depart from Infamous, like, it's got to be awesome, and what is the process to get there?
When we were looking at our next project, we wanted to stay open world, because we're giving authority, power to the player. And we didn't want to walk away from that. We think it's integral to modern gaming that players are in charge.
Yeah.
And I think in true Sucker Punch fashion, we answered that with, hey, what does everybody at the studio think? And we had about, I believe it was 72 pitches, 72 ideas that kind of all formed up from various corners of the studio. And we try to coagulate that into like one, idea. Turns out these things are really hard.
We thought a lot about open world games and what makes some open world games just beautiful and great. And we kind of settled on wanting to have a clear fantasy as the player. Like, who are you? What are you going to be doing in the game? And then we came upon this game idea, which is awesomely simple, right? To hear about it is to want to play it. Who doesn't want to go to feudal Japan? Who doesn't want to be a samurai with a katana on their hip, right?
When you tell somebody that you get to play as a samurai, you don't really have to say anything else. You just say that fantasy, and everybody just builds a list of scenarios and narratives and gameplay scenes that you might get to play in that.
When we hit upon the Mongol invasion of Tsushima of 1274, it all clicked. Suddenly you knew who the heroes were, who the villains were, what the stakes were for the world, and you had a video game.
I'll ask you once again, Samurai. Do you surrender?
Ghost of Tsushima is a action stealth adventure game where you play a samurai in feudal Japan. And we're taking inspiration from the historical point in time where the Mongol army invaded the island of Tsushima.
All those locations are in-engine, they're in the world. That's the place that you're going to defend, a huge island filled with a lot of different places, towns, people. There's so much to learn, there's so much to see.
I think player choice in this game will mean something very different than other games we've met in the past. We really want you to have that choice of, hey, that cool bamboo forest over there, I really want to check it out. I want to head in that direction, and I want to, see what it is. There's no waypoint. There's no thing that says, go here and look at this bamboo forest. We just hopefully are presenting something that's beautiful and exotic, that's different than the current place that you might be in, and that will come at a world choice, right? Like, that's your adventure choice. Like, it's like, where do I want to go?
In Infamous, we let you explore powers. In this game, we let you explore what it is to be a samurai inside of this enormous landscape of medieval Japan.
Here at the studio, sometimes we talk about the world as a character, and I think that even in Second Son, we pushed really hard to make the flavors of the world come alive. There's all these other elements that make you remember what it really felt like to be a tourist in this place, and we're going to do the same thing for this game, starting with some of the shots you see in the trailer. We've been working on this game for 3.5 years, and it's exciting to be at a spot where we're finally able to share with the world what we've been working on.
And now it's just up to us to actually deliver this fantasy, this wonderful fantasy about being a samurai in feudal Japan.
Wow.
That looks like a really cool game.
This is the announcement trailer right here. We should watch that next. That is beautiful, man. That is gorgeous
Yeah, it's-
looking.
Stunning.
Samurai. You are a warrior. I can see that. You trained your whole life for this. And you have won battles that lesser men have called unwinnable, yes? But while you were sharpening your sword, do you know how I prepared for today?
I don't know.
I learned. I know your language,
Oh.
your traditions, your beliefs, which villages to tame and which to burn. So I'll ask you once again, Samurai, do you surrender?
You don't know when it's coming out though, yeah?
Even if they give you a date, they're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna push this back a little bit. We need to work on it a little more. I am very excited for this game. I am still, there's a part of me that's still upset that it's not a sequel to Infamous though. Like Infamous 2 is my all-time favorite game. I just loved everything they did with that. And I thought it was even better than Infamous Second Son. First Light was a cool, DLC, but nothing compared to the experience of Infamous 2, and I just wanted to have that again, and I wanted Cole McGrath back, and
Right.
I just like that character a lot. I like I don't know, there was something so fun about it, and the freedom that they were talking about in the previous commercial, where they're like giving you the power to do whatever you want and explore these different powers, and that was fun, like being able to make these choices, and I assume that there's gonna be certain choices you make here in this world beyond just exploring these different areas in this open world combat.
Right.
It looks awesome, and that is certainly something that a lot of people are interested in, this feudal Japan, exploring what it is to be a samurai. It's not the first game to do that. There are other games that have explored this, explored Japan, feudal Japan, ancient Japan, but I don't know of any other games that explored the Mongolian invasion of Japan.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it is interesting that we haven't actually explored that story at all in any other games, as far as I can tell, because the Mongol warriors were like, they were the business. They conquered so much land. If you don't know your history, there are so many people who are related to Genghis Khan. It is ridiculous. It's interesting to see that, especially having the Japanese as the protagonists in the game, because, as an American, we viewed the Japanese, at least, several years back, as the attackers. They were a part of the axis of power during World War II. They were very much conquerors themselves. They, attacked China and they tried to take over, I think, Korea at one point. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting to see this perspective, this particular story. So I give it a lot of respect and kudos for that. Some actual history in a video game is interesting.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Japan, at least historically, is they have a very rich culture and history to draw from. That's very interesting to foreigners, I feel.
Yeah.
At least it is to me.
This is also another direction for Sucker Punch to take in terms of tone. Obviously, this is going to be M for mature. It's going to be violent. It's going to be bloody and whatnot, which is fine. I guess Sucker Punch is looking to kind of step up to a more adult audience, because Sly Cooper and Infamous were both rated teen, and that made it palatable for a very, very wide audience. But most gamers are grown-ups, and so it's a safe step forward to, for them, I guess. I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna give it a shot at the very least, because I'm a big fan of what Sucker Punch does. But yeah, there's a part of me that just died a little bit when they said they're just moving away from Infamous. Like, I heard that from a buddy of mine who works in the game industry that they've just completely given up on it, and I didn't want to believe him, but, you know. The graphics look amazing. I'm glad that they're making a game with Asians. Like, I mean, we have had that. That's become more and more of a thing. Slowly, we had Dirty Dogs or Sleeping Dogs or something. That was the name of a open world game that was just about Hong Kong, I think, or China.
Oh, cool.
We've had the Yakuza series. So this is cool. I'm excited. The one thing that kind of stood out to me was that they're all speaking English with an accent of some kind. And that just kind of throws me a little bit for some reason. It's like, if you're having a film about, let's say, Germans, right? Mm-hmm. And they were most likely speaking German to each other, I don't necessarily want to hear them speaking English with a German accent.
But that's kind of what they do all the time.
I know. I just...
There's a lot of the time people don't want to read subtitles.
I don't mind subtitles, but if you're gonna speak English, just speak English. Why are you gonna have this? Oh, if you guys haven't played it yet, check out Mini Ninjas. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, Mini Ninjas.
That's a fun game. It got like an 8 on IGN, I think. Because it wasn't like a superb game, but it's fun, it's cute. You're playing as a ninja, and it's very, very like family friendly. Because when you kill the bad guys, there's no blood; they just turn into animals. It's stupid adorable. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Please check out ACHARA KIRK on the social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and video game related videos. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.